Okay, James, so sorry. I was gonna say that I'm going to speak in Vietnamese to welcome the students, and then after that, we just hand over to you to start the lecture. Would it be okay with you?
That's excellent.
Okay, cool. Kiora, xin được chào mừng tất cả các bạn đến với chuỗi lớp học Masterclass do Cơ quan Giáo dục New Zealand ENZ phối hợp cùng với trường PIHMS, là một trong những trường đào tạo chuyên biệt về lĩnh vực quản trị nhà hàng khách sạn, để mà mang đến cho các bạn một cái lớp học trải nghiệm ngày hôm nay. Thì Cơ quan Giáo dục New Zealand ENZ là cơ quan chính phủ phụ trách về mảng giáo dục quốc tế của New Zealand. Và cũng đã từng tổ chức rất là nhiều hoạt động, đặc biệt là phối hợp với các trường của các bạn. Nên là rất vui hôm nay được gặp các bạn ở tại buổi học ngày hôm nay. Rồi, ngày hôm nay chúng ta sẽ học về một chủ đề hết sức là thú vị, và chắc chắn là các bạn cũng rất là quan tâm. Đó là về leadership skills. Và phụ trách cái lớp học ngày hôm nay sẽ là thầy James Cunningham. Hiện nay thầy là Deputy CEO của trường PIHMS ha các bạn ha, và thầy đã dành thời gian của một buổi cuối tuần để mà có thể được gặp các bạn cũng như là chia sẻ những cái điều thú vị với lại các bạn. Rồi một tí nữa thì cô Vân sẽ gửi lên trên một chat một cái form điểm danh. Tuy nhiên là các cô ở khu vực hậu cần hiện nay đang điểm danh manually các bạn rồi. Tuy nhiên một tí nữa thì các cô sẽ gửi cái form đó lại lên phần chat, nên các bạn nhớ theo dõi lớp học. Đến gần cuối lớp học thì các cô sẽ gửi lại cái form điểm danh này. Và ENZ rất là khuyến khích các bạn học sinh chúng ta mở camera lên để mà chúng ta có thể nhìn thấy được nhau, cũng như là chúng ta có thể tương tác được với nhau thật là tốt. Hôm nay chỉ là một buổi học trải nghiệm, hoàn toàn không có áp lực, không có đánh giá gì cả, chỉ là cơ hội để cho các bạn có thể giao lưu, tương tác với thầy James, với lại cô Nga. Cô Nga cũng đến từ trường PIHMS các bạn ha, và cũng như là giao lưu với lại các bạn đang học chung với mình. Nên mình mở camera như là một sự tôn trọng đối với các thầy cô cũng như đối với các bạn học. Và những bạn nào mà sử dụng máy tính bàn mà không có webcam thì mình thử xem là mình có thể đăng nhập cho một thiết bị khác hay không. Nếu mà không được thì không sao, các bạn có thể nhắn tin riêng cho Vân ha. Và các bạn cố gắng chủ động tham gia tích cực vào những cái lớp học này. Thì mỗi năm thì ENZ chỉ tổ chức một chuỗi lớp học duy nhất vào tầm tháng 10 thôi, nên đây là cơ hội để cho các bạn có thể trải nghiệm. Nên là các bạn hãy cố gắng cũng như là hãy thật sự là thoải mái để mà tham gia tích cực vào lớp học. Thì nếu như mà các bạn đáp ứng được hết các cái yêu cầu này thì các bạn có thể điền vào cái form thông tin để mà các cô có thể gửi đến các bạn cái chứng nhận hoàn thành cái lớp học sau khi buổi học kết thúc. Rồi, cảm ơn các bạn rất là nhiều. Và bây giờ cô Vân sẽ nhường lời lại cho thầy James để mà thầy James có thể bắt đầu cái buổi học ngày hôm nay. James, so very happy to hand over to you to start the lecture today. Thank you.
Sorry, James. Can you unmute, please?
Is that better? Well,
Thank you.
Good morning to you all in Vietnam. I'm so happy to see all of you here this morning. And I know it's an early morning start for you guys, so thank you very much for attending this session on contemporary leadership. Now, what is leadership and what is it not? It is a topic probably that a lot of people argue about. A lot of people say being cleverer makes you a leader, or being wealthier makes you a leader, or being the best dancer or the best football player makes you a leader. Or even sometimes people say being most attractive or most beautiful makes you a leader. Or the best qualification or education makes you a leader. But unfortunately, that is not true. And we will see today as we progress through the lecture why that is not the case. The lecture is going to be interactive, so I'm going to ask you guys to use Slido, and the details will appear on the screen as we go through the lecture today. So what are we going to address? We're going to talk about some of the misconceptions I've just raised. We're going to briefly touch on some academic views. We're going to consider the mind of a leader, discuss the characteristics of leaders, and then we're going to analyze 3 of your great leaders of the past. We're going to give you a framework how to improve your own leadership skills, and then show you a short video, 2 minutes, how we develop leaders at PIHMS. And lastly, I'm going to give you an invitation to share your views on your personal situation, and then I will return a report to you in terms of where we believe potential opportunities exist for you to improve. The first question I want to ask you is, are people born to be leaders? Or are people...
Sorry, James, just wonder if you would like to do the screen share.
Ah. Sorry. Just hold on a sec. I just don't want to go out now. Wait, Zoom. Just hold on. Is that better?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yes. Thank you.
Sorry for that. So the question is, are people born to be leaders, or do we make leaders? What I would like you to do is tell me what your opinion is. Take a mobile phone, your camera, and then click on the little QR code at the bottom and answer for me what you think the best approach is. Are we born to be leaders, or are we made leaders? I'd like you guys to vote for me, please. What do you say? Right, some say born, some say made. More say we are born leaders. Others said neither. That's an interesting response. I've had 26 respondents so far. Let's see how many people we can get that response. Are we born to be leaders, or are we made leaders? What do you guys say? A few more responses. So far, as you can see, most people say we can be made to be leaders. Right. It is indeed correct. We are made. We can make ourselves more efficient leaders. We're not born with leadership skills. We are not born into families or wealth or wisdom that automatically makes us a leader. Some of the world's best leaders have no qualifications. Some of the world's best leaders were very poor, and some of the world's best leaders came from very, very, very challenging backgrounds. We are not born to be leaders. We are indeed made, and we can make ourselves great leaders or not. That is a fact. Let's ask the next question quickly. And the next question is, how do people rate your leadership ability? As you sit there, reflect, what would your friends say? How good is your leadership? Is it poor, 1 out of 5, or is it 5 out of 5 excellent? How would people rate your leadership capability? Interesting, those of you that rate yourself very highly. On what basis? Think about it for a minute while the other people vote. Why do you say that? What evidence do you have to suggest that? Now, this is a very interesting finding that we see on your screen as well. It's very consistent with what literature suggests. We all think we are better leaders than what we really are. And the reason is that as humans, we always overestimate our leadership skills. So what do we do about it? The literature suggests to us that there are 8 leadership styles. But of course, a leadership style is meaningless. And I'll tell you why. You get people that are transformational leaders, people that change countries, like Ho Chi Minh, for example, or a Nelson Mandela, etc. But they may not necessarily be autocratic leaders. Or you get servant leaders that may not necessarily be charismatic leaders. So when we put people in a bucket or a label, it makes it very difficult for people to portray the full suite of skills that is required to be a leader. So a leadership style may be true today, but a leader may have to employ a different leadership style tomorrow to be effective. So if a person says to you, what type of leader are you? You cannot say, oh, I'm a transactional leader. Because what is true today in terms of your leadership skill may be something else may be required tomorrow. Leaders need to be very, very flexible people. But generally, the academia suggests there are 8 types of leaders. Now, I have a big issue with this because I believe there are other things and circumstances that suggest that we should never only be one type of leader. We can never have one style of leadership. So what do I say? These leadership styles have a place, but whether you're a sportsman or whether you're at school, whether you are in the military, whether you're running a hospital, or whether you are the leader of a bank, all those situations and contexts requires different leadership styles. So I want to ask you, what do you think are the 3 most important things a leader must consider to be an effective leader? What are the 3 things a leader must consider to be very effective? Go with me on to Slido and give me your suggestions. What are 3 things a leader must do to be very effective? Yes, know the people, very important. Be decisive. Yes. Understand the team, very important. Straightforward, calm. Look at all those collaborative, strategic, confident, straightforward. The leadership skills. A few more, yep. Collaborative. Take care. Respect. Opinion. Understanding. Mental personality. Responsible. Good communication. Teamwork. What, anything else? So as you guys can see on those responses, there's a huge range of potential things that leaders must do to be effective. Okay. And if we look at the list, your list, confidence is the thing that stood out most of all, as well as what it looks like, communication, etc. So all these things are true. We can't argue with those things. So the mind of a leader is about what I call a balancing act. So on the one hand, as you've suggested, we need to know where the people are at, understand the team. What can they cope with? How do the people see the situation? What are their aspirations? What do they want to, where do they want to go to? Very important for a team leader or a leader to understand that thing. Okay. The second aspect is, what is the situation we find ourselves in? Now, put yourself in a situation of being in hospital, in the emergency room of a hospital. The leader there will respond totally different to a person that will run a police station. Their behaviors and their leadership patterns will be different because the situation they find themselves in requires different leadership skills. So the situation is of paramount importance, even more important sometimes than knowing the people and having a skill set, because the situation can make or break the effectiveness of your leadership. The third thing, of course, is that you need to have skills as a leader. And we're going to look at these because I'm going to challenge you personally in terms of how you stack up in terms of these skills. In other words, can you communicate? Do you have integrity? Can you take people with you? Do you serve? Can you create a vision, etc.? Those are the things that is very important from a personal leadership perspective. And traditionally, these are the things people can develop. These are also the things that leaders lack. So they may understand the people, they may analyze the situation well, but they break the leadership cycle because they do not know how to engage or interact. So the mind of a leader is a whole mind. We need to know the people, first of all. Secondly, we need to have the skills. And thirdly, the situation in which we find ourselves are of utmost importance. Now, if you understand these three things, then you can be a leader in any situation. And you can understand from this the little graph that if your situation changes, then your leadership style or method should change. If the people you work with change, then you need to change your leadership skills and how you apply it. So flexibility is of a very great importance here. So the next question I would like to ask you guys is, which personal characteristics makes great leaders? What do you think? We've touched on some of them already, but which personal characteristics make great leaders? Go on Slido and give me a few suggestions. What do you think? We've had honesty and we've had good communication skills. Oh, there's honesty. First thing that came up, very important. Respectful, concise, down to earth. Yeah, humbleness, humility, respectful. Yep. Serious, determined, connective, confident, have charisma, critical thinking, good listener, honesty, knowledgeable, friendly, intelligent, adaptable, reliable, look what's standing out: respectful, confident, taking responsibility, taking ownership, patience, empathy. Willingness to learn, very important. Tolerant towards situations and people, very, very important. Self-directed, empathy, thoughtfulness, calm. Look at the list, that list growing. So if we just look at what we've got there, the things that stood out for you is the ability to think, critical thinking, the way we engage with people, respectful, and confidence. We need to know basically the story we would like to tell. Now, think for a minute. If you look at all these things, those of you that rated yourself a 5 out of 5, how true are you in achieving all these specific criteria? If I look at some of these things, my weakness, for example, I'm very impatient. Those people that know with me, patience is not one of my strengths, and I have to work on it. And so every one of us will have our specific weaknesses. So quite an interesting list of things. So how do we group it? How do we make meaningful sense out of all these characteristics? Now, I've compiled the following slide, and I've said there are 6 things every great leader must possess. If you don't have these 6 skills or groups of skills, then you will never be a leader. Now, all these things is on a scale. You can have very good skills in one area and very poorly developed skills in another. But the one fundamental thing here is that me as an individual need to develop my weaknesses into strengths and not over-rely on my strengths in developing my leadership skills. So let's look at visionary leadership. If we go back to your list that you've created a few minutes ago for me, vision stands out as one of the things that are very important for a leader. And it's true. A leader that creates a purpose and a vision statement for where he wants to take the people can take people with him, because people can say, yep, I'm going to follow that leader because I believe in the path the leader is laying out for us. So the first thing, if you don't have a vision, you're not a leader, because a leader is not a follower. A follower just go where everybody wants to go, but a leader creates a new path, a new road. Look at the second point that we've got there, confidence. Well, in this list here that you've just created for me, it is the second boldest point, confident. In other words, if I'm not confident in my vision that I've got, how can I communicate that vision to you? If you're not confident in what you do, who will believe you? It's like when I say to you, how confident are you that you are going to get a 90% in your test? You say, I'm very confident. I'm not going to believe you, are you? Because I can see you're not confident. In the same way for a leader, if a leader says, this is where we'll go because people believe them. But if a leader says, I think this is the way we should go, people will not follow the leader because there's no confidence. Therefore, the way you communicate, it's the third point, becomes fundamentally important. Are you direct? Are you, can you communicate in such a way that people know there's no doubt in my mind, this leader actually means business? Can you make it simple? Can you break it down into very basic steps for people to grasp? We so often see great leaders or leaders that over-communicate. They try and say too much, rather than have a very simplistic message and people will follow that message. And great leaders will have the ability to create a strapline. And the strapline will say, follow me for a better future. Or back to the, let's take our country back. Or something like that, that gives people something to hang on to. And if they've got the means to deliver it and they communicate it well, then the rest will work. Think, for example, in your history, when Ho Chi Minh came up with an alternative view. Okay. Did he believe in it? Oh, yes, he did. Did he communicate it? Yes, he did. Was he confident? Oh, yes, he was. And the rest is just followed suit. So how do you communicate with people? How do you use the media? How do you use social media, etc., communication channels, whatever you can use to bring over your message that you want to bring across? But also, I think one of the things that's here on the list is respectfulness and on what you guys have created for me. Honesty, good listening skills, etc., calmness, patience, etc. Now, it's true. A leader needs to be in touch with these people. A leader needs to feel and be emotionally connected to the people that he wants to lead. He can't sit in an Eiffel Tower and be filthy rich and the people go hungry. A leader needs to move with the people wherever they go, whatever they say, and be found amongst the people. Otherwise, we won't know the struggles and the trials and tribulations of the people itself. All great political leaders in the past were experts at this. And they were not born rich. They were born poor And they were people of the people. And eventually they stood up and became great leaders. Why? Because they had the emotional connection with the people to realize, right, this is what we would like to do. The next point is resilience. Now, if you want to carve out a new pathway in future, you will find thousands of people that want to stop you. There's a little book, Who Moved the Cheese? And it's a story of 3 mice that stayed in a maze. Read that little book if you've got access to it sometime. Because what it says, for every person that wants to change, 100 would like to stop him. Not because they think it's wrong, but because they don't want to change. So you have to have guts. You have to have determination. You have to, irrespective when people say, no, it won't work, you need to have the courage and the commitment and the resilience to move on. Great characteristic of a leader. So if you give up too easy, then what will happen? You're not a great leader. People will quickly see that. Thomas Edison, how many times did he try to make a light bulb? What if he gave up? We would still have had candles today. Okay, so resilience, very important. The last one, and in my opinion, the most important one, is integrity. Integrity. Are you who you say you are? Do you have the ethics? Do you have the sense of responsibility? Do you take accountability for the people you lead? Do you want to make sure where the people arrive at is at a better place than where they were? It's very easy to lead people, but will they be better off in 3, 6, or 12 years' time? Okay. And then the thing is to say, do I walk the talk? I can't, as a leader, say, be honest, and then I steal the tax money. I can't say to people, work hard, and then I don't work hard because I come, as the boss, I come 10 o'clock to the office and leave 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Our walking and our talking needs to be consistent with our leadership. So really, if we look at this, the profile, this is what makes great leaders. There are many more, but they are smaller aspects that also fit into these 6 leadership skills. Now, let's take visionary leadership. We can develop that. We can develop lateral thinking skills, out-of-the-box thinking. We can develop creativity, innovation. Those things we can foster so that we can develop our ability to have leadership, visionary leadership. How do we build confidence? By becoming successful. Set your objectives for a small task, achieve it. Set your goals higher, achieve it. Set your goals higher. And the more you achieve things, the more you'll become confident. But if you never finish anything, you will never finish anything. And eventually you will believe that you cannot finish anything, and you will not finish anything. Just follow the vicious circle downwards. Communication and decision-making, that's the one thing I think that most young people today do better than what the older generation would, is communication, because you guys are exposed to many, many more channels than what the older generation would be. However, although you may talk a lot more to other people, what is the depth? What is the content, and what is the substance of the communication that you share with one another? In other words, have you learned how to disagree? Can you and your friends have a robust, huge conversation and both parties feels good at the end of it? Because that is what leaders must be able to do. In the face of adversity, communicate and say, these are the reasons why I believe things are right. So a challenge to the younger generation then is to say, okay, I've got my Facebook friends and my Twitter and Q and whatever social media you may use, but do I have real communication, in-depth communication, where we talk about politics, where we talk about economics, where we talk about the social well-being of the country, and all those kinds of subjects as well? Because Facebook, social media will not develop those skills for you, because it's too shallow and it simply just won't work. Emotional intelligence, well, we need to learn it. We need to learn how to be empathetic. We need to learn how to get involved in people's lives. And you can answer for yourself very quickly. How involved are you in your family's life? How involved are you in the lives of your friends? Just in a small area. How involved are you in the school activities or the university or in the business activities where you may work? What compassion do you show? Do you help somebody that's in need? And those are the kinds of things that makes great people, great leaders, great people, great leaders. They can honestly help and assist people. Then we come to resilience. How easy to give up? Can you bounce back? If somebody says no or you fail, do you try another way? Do you try another way? If you fail, do you try again? Or do you just give up and say it's too hard? When I was a young boy, and I know it's many years ago, my grandpa told me one thing. He said there are two words that should never be spoken in the English language. And those two words is, it's impossible. Everything in life is possible. Believe me, everything is. The question just becomes, what is our attitude towards the development of those things? Great leaders refuse to accept it's impossible. The likes of IBM, the Apples of the world, Nokia, Sony, etc. All the great companies in the world, their leaders refuse to accept things cannot be done. Now, great leaders never, ever give up. Right? Sir Winston Churchill had a speech to his old school. And he walked up to the podium, and he stood there and he said, boys, here's my advice for you. Never give up. Silence. He said, boys, my advice for you is never, ever give up. Silence. He said, boys, never, ever give up. That was his speech. And what is it all about? It's about resilience. It's about not giving up when the going gets tough. Okay. Then we talk about the last one is integrity and accountability. How honest are you? How easy do you lie? How easy do you tell half-truths? How easy it's that you say it wasn't me? How quickly are you to blame somebody else when you know that you are wrong? You see, people respect people that says, it's my fault. I've made a mistake, but this is what I've learned from it. People do not respect people that says, nah, it wasn't me, it was somebody else's fault. So integrity and accountability is fundamentally important because it tells the people who you are. Are you trustworthy? Can I follow you? Will you do what you say? If you say this, you will do something for me. Can I trust you that you will do that? And trust, integrity, accountability, and trustworthiness is fundamentally important. Okay. And just on the sideline, even in your relationships with people, if you can't trust somebody, you've got no relationship. Right. So these are the 6 leadership skills that people must have to be great leaders. Now, let's look at the following. Let's look at one of your great leaders, Ho Chi Minh. There's the 6 criteria. He had a clear vision for Vietnam, and he could inspire the entire nation to follow him. Did he have emotional intelligence? Of course. Did he have resilience and adaptability? Read there. Of course, he had some. Okay. Did he have integrity and accountability? Of course he did. Was he a good communicator? Did he have decision-making skills? Oh, most definitely. Was he confident? He demonstrated confidence in his vision, even in the face of the starkest opposition. See what I mean in terms of leadership? At the time, Ho Chi Minh was probably one of your greatest leaders. because the situation he found himself in, he responded to. He used his leadership skills, those personal characteristics of his, to take the nation somewhere else. Think back for a minute. What happened if he never did it? Think back for a minute. Where would you as a country possibly have been if it wasn't for the sacrifice and the leadership of Ho Chi Minh? Interesting to ask that question, isn't it? Who's the next leaders? Who are the next people amongst this group that's listening to this speech that will step up for their countries one day? Let's take another one. General Jacques, whoopsie, go back. General Jacques, okay, great leader of the military in your country, okay. Was he a visionary? Of course, he was a visionary in his own way. Different to Ho Chi Minh, but still a leader. His leadership came through during the time when the military was in need of a great leader, and he stepped up for the country. Look at his emotional intelligence. He could connect with his soldiers and create strong bonds and morale. Yes, he may not necessarily have been good for the people outside the military, but the role he had to play in the context where he was a great leader. Look at the resilience. Did he give up? No. People died around him, but he never, ever gave up because he believed in his cause. And it's the same with integrity and accountability. Okay. It's the same with his communication skills. He could plan, he could create the vision, he could lay out the plans for the people to follow, and they followed him. Yes, sadly, many of them died in the process, but they still did. And he showed great capability, great confidence, and we know today that he was successful because he never gave up. So in this instance, we've got a great leader in a different context, in a different social setting, that believed in himself, that had integrity, that followed his people, that fought with his people, and he was a great and successful leader. Did he possess all 6 skills? Yes, he did. Now, just think for a minute, if he was a poor communicator, and he couldn't communicate his strategies and actions for the battlefield to his soldiers, would they have been successful? Probably not. Think for a minute, if he easily gave up and he didn't have resilience. After he lost his first couple of people, soldiers who died, he would have said, oh no, this is too tough. Maybe we need to follow a different path. Or even imagine if he wasn't connected to his soldiers. How could he lead them to face potential death if he wasn't emotionally connected to the people? So if you take any one of these 6 factors out, the whole leadership, his whole effectiveness would have dropped significantly. And the same with Ho Chi Minh. Look at the Trung sisters. They led a rebellion against the Chinese rule. Great ladies, I must admit. And when I read about them, I've got so much more respect. Because look when it happened, 40 AD. That's nearly 2,000 years ago. And yet we still talk today about these great ladies. Why? Because they had a fierce vision of independence of Vietnam. Why you're where you are today? Thanks to the Trung sisters, aren't you? So could they connect with people? Yeah, they ran rallies. They could talk to the people. They could motivate them. They could get them behind their cause. Amazing, isn't it? Were they resilient? Oh, yeah, if you think of the powerful China, who they resisted. Amazing people, weren't they? Did they give up? No, they didn't give up. So we can take our hats off to them as well. Look at the integrity, courage, commitment. Leading the rebellion, they had to tell people what to do, when to do, how to think, when to do it, what the strategies were, etc. Great communicators. And were they confident? Oh, yes, confident and courage whenever it was required. Now let's do the same thing. If any one of these 6 characteristics weren't there, they wouldn't have been successful. And this is what made them great. They were balanced leaders. All 6 these criteria were present. So let's have a look. So the 3 leaders we've analyzed, do they have vision leadership? Yes. Do they have confidence? Yes. Communication? Yes. Integrity, accountability? Yes. Resilience? Yes. Emotional intelligence? Yes. It's a package deal. Some require more emotional intelligence than others. In certain situations, you may need to communicate more. In some cases, you may have to be more resilient. The situation will depend on how much each one of these leadership skills will come into play. Again, as we said earlier, a doctor will require different leadership skills to a military man, to a teacher, to a man in the factory, or to a farmer. But it's the 6 skills become fundamentally important for us. All right. Take any one of these out, and we can't have leadership, because it's just the magic ingredients to being a great leader. So I want to ask you the following question. Which ones, back to Slido, which ones do you think was the best leader? Which of the 3 was the best leader or leaders? And tell me why. I would like you to tell me why as well, why you say that, if you don't mind. So far, you guys say Ho Chi Minh was the greatest leader. Ho Chi Minh for sure. Ho Chi Minh, great vision. Ho Chi Minh, confidence. Abraham Lincoln leads thousands of people. Clear vision, confidence, responsible. So from what I see there is that most people will say, it looks like Ho Chi Minh is getting the most votes. Now, I can certainly understand why most of you would vote that. But here's a question that I would like to ask you in response to that. In their own right, they were all great leaders. For the circumstance where they found themselves in, they were perfect. The situation, the people, and their understanding made them great for the time when they lived. A great leader today might not have been a great leader 5,000 years ago. A great leader of 200 years ago may not necessarily be a great leader in 100 years' time. So when we think leadership, we must always remember the balanced mind of a leader. What is the situation that we've got, right? And what is where the people are at, and how do I adapt my leadership to match that? So it was a bit of a tricky question, because the conclusion I really wanted to make or get to is that they were all great leaders based on the circumstance and the time they lived. And that brings us to the interesting point. You can be a great leader as well. Your leadership future depends entirely on you, Not whether you are born rich or you're beautiful or sing the most beautiful. No, you can be a great leader. And let's have a look at it. What can you do today and tomorrow in the next 3 days to improve your leadership skills, to become a great leader? Let's follow the 6 models. Okay, there we go. You can create your visionary leadership. Talk about what you want. What do you want to achieve? Take your friends with, engage your family, etc. You can build your own confidence. Speak as much as you can. Do exams. Speak in public. How do you boost your self-assurance? Communicating. How do you effectively communicate with teachers, friends, and family? How can you improve those things? Look at the emotional side. Look at resilience. How can you build resilience? What are your action plans to build integrity and accountability? See, guys, you can make the difference. Your mom and dad can't do these things for you. Your teachers can't do these things for you. The society can't do these things for you. You need to grasp it. You need to grab it and say, what is my action plan? What's my project plan? What's my plan to become the greatest leader I can be? And we can learn from the past, but fundamentally, our future lies in our own hands. So just a question. I want to show you how we practically do it as an institution, because we believe that leadership is of paramount importance and more important than academic knowledge, more important than operational skills, is the ability to create and be leaders. Let's take 2 minutes quickly to look at this video.
Sorry, James, no sound on this one.
Oh.
I'm Dr. Jane Lockett-Kay, the Dean of Academics. At PIHMS, we offer an inspiring and exciting style of education.
PIHMS has developed integrated immersion as its andragogy. Integrated immersion utilises the strengths of both the instructivist and constructivist theoretical frameworks. Integrated immersed learning encourages students to be self-directed learners, seeking to achieve set learning outcomes whilst receiving support and direction. Staff facilitate an environment of successful student learning within a working hotel context. Students take responsibility for their own learning as they seek to become immersed in the hotel environment. Integrated immersion follows a 3-pillar approach to student development. This andragogy concentrates on the development of vocational skills, integrated theoretical knowledge, and experiences which centre around a working hotel, where students operate the hotel to enhance their integrated knowledge.
Student-centred learning prepares our students to be leaders in the hotel and hospitality industries.
As you can see, what we do in our organization is that we work with people. We work and get students to work as groups of people together to develop their communication skills, develop their leadership skills, to build trust, to build a vision for the future, etc. That's the foundational premise that we have at the organization. Academics, practical skills, and the vision and the knowledge and the attitudes for successful thinking. Anyway, you can become a great leader. You can all do it. And hopefully one day before I die, or when, I would like to hear about how you guys have turned great into great leaders and made your countries an even greater success. Now, I'm going to invite you, if you're interested, to evaluate your own leadership, where you truly are at. And if you complete a survey for me, I will write you a report, a one-page report to identify potential opportunities for you how to become even a greater leader. Feel free to communicate with me via email if you want to, and I will try and respond to your emails if I can. Anyway, so thank you very much for your time, and I hope that you've enjoyed the session this morning with me. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you, Mr. James Cunningham, for your wonderful session. And if you would like to measure your leadership skills and get report personally from Mr. James, you can scan the QR code there. So you can scan the QR code, and let's do it. And now I would like, I have students raise hand, but I just wonder if you would like to save your question until the last 5 minutes of this session. So if it's okay with you, Gavin, I can just screen share with all the students to learn a little bit more about PIHMS.
Yep, so probably James can help to stop share so that you can share the screen and share more with the students about PIHMS. Students, if you have any questions, you can wait until the end of the session, you know, to raise your question and get answers from Mr. James.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you very much. And James, if you would like to stay a little bit longer at the end of the session to answer our students' questions, that'll be awesome. And in this session, I'd like to excuse you to speak in Vietnamese to our students. Alright, ok, cô cảm ơn các con rất là nhiều, và các thầy cô và cô Vân bên INZ đã set up cái lớp Masterclass này rất là bổ ích hôm nay. Và xin thay mặt trường PIHMS thì cô muốn chia sẻ với các con là trường PIHMS thì chuyên về ngành quản trị khách sạn, và chỉ có duy nhất một ngành mà thôi. Và ở trường thì đây là muốn chia sẻ với con là hình ảnh của khuôn viên của trường, là tiền thân là khách sạn 4 sao, và trường đã mua khách sạn này năm 1995 để trở thành trường học, và đã hơn gần 30 năm rồi, đã đào tạo ra hàng nghìn các sinh viên và đã trở thành leaders ở trong ngành quản trị khách sạn cũng như là business nói chung. Các bạn thường hỏi cô là vì sao ngành quản trị khách sạn? Bởi vì có rất nhiều lý do, ví dụ như các bạn mà mong muốn có những cơ hội làm việc cao. Cái thứ hai nữa là các bạn mong muốn được đi du lịch và có nhiều bạn bè quốc tế. Và đặc biệt cái mà làm cho cô cảm thấy là có cái đam mê với cái ngành này rất là nhiều, đó là chuẩn bị cho các bạn những kỹ năng rất là tốt về kỹ năng mềm mà bất cứ nhà tuyển dụng nào cũng cần, không nhất thiết là ngành quản trị khách sạn. Và ngoài ra nếu như các bạn có thể là mong muốn được đào tạo thêm về những kỹ năng về lãnh đạo hay là các nhà quản lý, thì ngành quản trị khách sạn trang bị cho các bạn rất nhiều những cái kỹ năng đó. Và ngoài ra có rất nhiều các bạn có hỏi cô là làm thế nào để con biết là con có thể muốn học ngành quản trị khách sạn như thế này. Các bạn có thể screenshot ở trên đây, nhưng mà nhìn chung thì các bạn có thể ví dụ các bạn muốn học về ngành kinh tế, các bạn muốn nhiều cơ hội việc làm, hay là các bạn muốn được lên các vị trí quản lý nhanh hơn, hoặc là các bạn muốn được cái cơ hội việc làm đặc biệt là các nước sở tại, thì một ngày nào đó cô sẽ chia sẻ với các bạn nhiều hơn về những cái lý do này. Vì sao mà các bạn nên lựa chọn trường PIHMS thì cô muốn chia sẻ với các bạn ở đây là có một số những cái lý do rất là cơ bản. Ví dụ lý do thứ nhất về chất lượng của chương trình trường PIHMS, cái thứ hai nữa là các thành tích đầu ra của sinh viên, cái thứ ba nữa là trường đảm bảo 100% thực tập hưởng lương, và thứ tư nữa là chi phí rất là hợp lý, phù hợp với lại các phụ huynh và học sinh ở Việt Nam chúng ta. Với lý do thứ nhất thì cũng muốn chia sẻ với các bạn thì về chất lượng của trường PIHMS thì là trường Category 1 ở New Zealand. Đây là trường đạt tiêu chí chất lượng cao nhất, và bằng cấp của PIHMS thì được công nhận quốc tế. Và sau khi các bạn học xong, các bạn sẽ có 3 năm được ở lại New Zealand làm việc. Và mục tiêu của PIHMS đó là đào tạo ra các bậc quản lý ở ngành khách sạn. Nên nhiều bạn bảo là nếu như mà con chỉ muốn nếu mà ngành khách sạn này chỉ đi ra làm nhân viên, làm phục vụ thì không đúng, bởi vì là trường đã đào tạo ra rất nhiều các nhà quản lý khách sạn. Cái thứ hai nữa là cô muốn chia sẻ với các bạn là lý do vì sao, đấy là cái kết quả đầu ra của sinh viên, bởi vì là ai cũng có thể đào tạo ra được những chương trình gọi là bằng cấp, nhưng mà cái kết quả đầu ra của sinh viên là cái thước đo lường chất lượng cũng như là cơ hội của các bạn. Thứ nhất là 96% sinh viên có việc làm trong vòng 6 tháng kể từ ngày tốt nghiệp. Thứ hai nữa là 85% sinh viên được thăng chức trong vòng 1 năm làm việc, và 59% tới 64% là sinh viên được lên các vị trí quản lý trong vòng 1,5 năm kể từ ngày làm việc. Thì đây là cái thành tích rất là đáng khích lệ của trường PIHMS. Tiếp theo nữa là khi mà sinh viên ra trường các bạn làm những gì, thì như các bạn nhìn thấy ở đây là một số những ví dụ để các bạn thấy là ngoài cái việc mà sinh viên được làm ở tất cả các vị trí ở trong cái khách sạn, bởi vì đấy là một cái doanh nghiệp rất là lớn với nhiều phòng ban khác nhau. Ngoài ra có rất nhiều các sinh viên PIHMS học những kỹ năng và các bạn có thể ra đi làm về các vị trí ở các công ty khác, ví dụ như về marketing, về sales, hay và về quản trị nhân sự, hay là cả về finance, bởi vì trường có bộ môn là business evaluation. Và đặc biệt là có rất nhiều các bạn PIHMS đã ra trường và làm vị trí sales ở các tập đoàn ở New Zealand nữa. Và cô muốn chia sẻ các bạn một số những hình ảnh. Đây là các bạn sinh viên Việt Nam. Bởi vì là các bạn sinh viên Việt Nam này thì là học sinh của cô, và các bạn đã tốt nghiệp năm 2020, 2021. Nhưng mà chỉ trong vòng 1 năm các bạn lên các vị trí là Front Office Manager hay là Duty Manager. Ví dụ như theo Đặng kia thì bạn ấy đã được lên cái vị trí Duty Manager khi mà bạn ấy đang là sinh viên năm thứ 3. Và Peter Nguyễn thì bạn đã lên cái vị trí gọi là Front Office Manager chỉ trong vòng 1 năm kể từ ngày bạn tốt nghiệp. Đối với lại Haley thì bạn ấy ngoài cái việc mà làm restaurant manager trong khi mà bạn còn đang học năm cuối đại học, và bạn ấy còn khởi nghiệp với một cái doanh nghiệp mà riêng về bạn ấy về thiết kế, bởi vì đấy là cái nghề tay trái của bạn ấy. Và với lại Trung Anh Nguyễn thì bạn ấy cũng làm ở PIHMS, bạn ấy cũng làm ở khách sạn, nhưng bạn lại chuyển sang một cái lĩnh vực khác là liên quan tới sale cho tập đoàn No Limit rất là lớn ở New Zealand, và bạn luôn nằm trong cái top sales person of the month. Và ngoài ra bạn cũng khởi nghiệp cái công ty gọi là Touch Việt Nam. Và trong ngày mai ấy, thì là nếu các bạn muốn tìm hiểu thêm nữa thì cô có một cái event là có 2 guest speaker là bạn Adam Đoàn và bạn Trung Anh Nguyễn, là sẽ tham dự một cái buổi chia sẻ ở trên live trên Facebook của cô, và đồng thời là có thể chọn on Zoom nữa. Và cô Thanh, nếu như cô đang ngồi ở đó thì cô có thể gửi cái link cho các bạn để các bạn có thể là đăng ký để tham dự, để nghe chia sẻ của hai anh chị này. Cô lấy ví dụ như Adam Đoàn đã có thu nhập là 48.000 đô New Zealand trong năm 1 và năm 2, và ngoài ra thì bạn đến hiện nay đang là năm 3 nhưng bạn đã có tới 4 tới 5 cái job offer ở các tập đoàn lớn ở New Zealand rồi. Lý do thứ ba nữa là PIHMS đảm bảo 100% thực tập hưởng lương, thì thu nhập lên tới 600 triệu trong khi các bạn học đại học, tức là trong năm 1, năm 2 các bạn đã thu nhập được gần đó rồi. Bởi vì PIHMS là có các đối tác ở khách New Zealand và Australia là trên tới 150 khách sạn, và cái số lượng của PIHMS, tức là khi các bạn đang học năm thứ 3 này, đã hơn một nửa số sinh viên đã có hợp đồng lao động tuyển dụng rồi. Và ngoài ra thì cô muốn chia sẻ với các bạn là một số những cái địa điểm mà các bạn đi thực tập hưởng lương ở New Zealand, ở Úc và ở các nước khác trên thế giới nữa. Yếu tố thứ tư tức là về chi phí thì rất là hợp lý, bởi vì là tổng chi phí của 3 năm học chỉ có chưa tới 1 tỷ Việt Nam đồng tính tương đương, nhưng cái thu nhập từ thực tập hưởng lương lại lên tới 600 triệu Việt Nam đồng rồi. Về scholarship thì PIHMS có những cái học bổng rất là đặc biệt dành riêng cho cái hội trợ triển lãm giáo dục New Zealand vào tháng 10 này, thì các bạn có thể tìm hiểu thêm về cái học bổng của trường PIHMS, từ tiếng Anh tới ăn ở và tiền học phí. Ngoài ra PIHMS cũng có những học bổng combo giữa PIHMS và các tập đoàn khách sạn nữa. Và cuối cùng thì cô muốn chia sẻ với các bạn đó là đây có quà tặng đặc biệt dành riêng cho các bạn tham gia những cái chương trình như thế này. Tức là tại PIHMS thì tại văn phòng tại Hồ Chí Minh ấy, thì là cô và các bạn mới đưa ra một cái chương trình, tức là Mocktail Masterclass hoàn toàn miễn phí do PIHMS tài trợ. Nếu bạn nào ở trong khu vực thành phố Hồ Chí Minh mà muốn tham gia lớp này, hiện nay thì Hà Nội cô chưa thực hiện được, nhưng mà trong khu vực thành phố Hồ Chí Minh thì các bạn có thể đăng ký để được lựa chọn tham gia vào chương trình này, và sẽ tổ chức vào ngày 22 tháng 10 năm 2023. Và nếu như cô Thanh có thể gửi cái đường link đấy để các bạn có thể tham gia, hoặc là các bạn scan QR code ở trên đây, thì các bạn có thể là được lựa chọn để tham gia cái lớp Masterclass này. Và cái lớp tuần trước mà tổ chức ấy thì các bạn đã có rất nhiều những cái trải nghiệm vô cùng là tuyệt vời, và Tom là một trong những guest speaker và là một trong những trainer mà đã tốt nghiệp trường PIHMS và hiện nay đang sống tại Hồ Chí Minh và tham gia PIHMS Việt Nam team. Và một lần nữa thì cô rất cảm ơn các bạn. Nếu như bạn quan tâm tới những cái lĩnh vực như thế này thì các bạn có thể là tham gia một cái buổi, tức là có 2 tiếng đồng hồ. Và xin một lần nữa xin cảm ơn cô Vân, tất cả các học trò và thầy James và tất cả các bạn đã có mặt tham dự trong buổi hôm nay. Cảm ơn.
Cảm ơn cô Nga rất là nhiều. Thì nãy giờ các bạn đã được học thử với lại thầy James để mà nắm được một chút xíu về cái cách dạy cũng như là nội dung bài học khi mà mình học ở cái cấp bậc đại học ở tại New Zealand thì như thế nào. Sau đó thì các bạn cũng đã được nghe cô Nga chia sẻ thêm về trường PIHMS cũng như những cái lợi thế khi mà các bạn theo học cái ngành về quản trị khách sạn với lại PIHMS. thì hy vọng đã đưa cho các bạn một chút các cái thông tin về cái này. Thì bây giờ cô Vân sẽ nói thêm một chút xíu nữa, một vài thông tin rất ngắn, sau đó cô Vân sẽ gửi cái form điểm danh lên cho các bạn nhé. Thì cái form điểm danh này sẽ được mở đến cuối ngày hôm nay, nên khi các bạn thấy cái form điểm danh này thì các bạn có thể lưu lại, copy và lưu lại trên cái trình duyệt của mình. Thì khi các bạn rảnh trong ngày, các bạn có thể vào để mà điền form, thì các cô sẽ đối chiếu lại với các thông tin mà các cô take note từ đầu giờ đến giờ. Rồi thì mình đã được học thử với thầy James này, mình biết được một số các thông tin về ngành quản trị khách sạn này, rồi biết được thông tin về trường PIHMS này, cũng như là các cái học bổng và những các cái chương trình để hỗ trợ cho học sinh sinh viên. Còn đứng về tổng thể quốc gia, tức là đứng về góc độ là chính phủ New Zealand thì đang tạo điều kiện như thế nào cho các bạn khi mà các bạn đi theo học ở New Zealand sau khi mà mình tốt nghiệp trung học đó, tới mình bước vào bậc đại học. Thì nếu mà các bạn là sinh viên quốc tế tại New Zealand thì các bạn có thể được làm bán thời gian. Trong khi mà mình học thì mình sẽ được làm 20 tiếng đồng hồ một tuần, và vào những cái lúc nghỉ thì chúng ta sẽ được làm toàn thời gian, tức là 40 tiếng đồng hồ một tuần. Và chính phủ New Zealand cũng có quy định về mức lương tối thiểu để làm sao có thể bảo vệ được quyền lợi của sinh viên quốc tế cũng như các lao động quốc tế khi mà làm việc ở tại New Zealand. Thì mức lương tối thiểu tính từ ngày 1 tháng 4 năm 2023 là 27,7 đô. Ngoài ra thì các bạn nào mà học trình độ cử nhân trở lên á, mà gọi là level 7 á, như hồi nãy cô Nga có nói, thì cái này cũng nói thêm một chút xíu nữa là bậc cử nhân ở New Zealand chúng ta học có 3 năm thôi các bạn, không phải giống như ở Việt Nam là 4 năm ha. Chương trình của PIHMS cũng 3 năm phải không cô Nga?
Rồi, chương trình của PIHMS là 3 năm.
Dạ, như vậy là một cái điểm để mình nắm ha. Các cái chương trình cử nhân, đa phần các cái chương trình cử nhân ở tại New Zealand đều chỉ là 3 năm, ngoại trừ một số các chương trình mà các bạn phải học dài hơi hơn, chẳng hạn như là về engineering chẳng hạn, hoặc là một số các cái chương trình có quy định khác. Thì đó cũng là một cái lợi thế các bạn theo học ở New Zealand nếu như các bạn có lên kế hoạch như vậy. Thì đối với các bạn mà học bậc cử nhân ở tại New Zealand thì sau khi các bạn tốt nghiệp thì các bạn sẽ được ở lại New Zealand 3 năm để mà làm việc cũng như là tích lũy các kinh nghiệm làm việc quốc tế. Và đây là visa tự động, có nghĩa là sau khi các bạn tốt nghiệp thì các bạn sẽ xin apply visa này, chứ không phải là mình phải có việc mình mới được ở lại New Zealand. Rồi ngoài ra thì ở New Zealand á, thì chính phủ New Zealand cũng có thông tin rất là rõ về các cái vị trí công việc, về các cái lĩnh vực ngành nghề mà New Zealand sẽ thiếu hụt trong ngắn hạn cũng như là dài hạn. Thì các bạn có thể search cái từ khóa Green List của New Zealand và các bạn vào, các bạn xem những cái ngành nghề nào mà sẽ thiếu hụt lao động trong tương lai ở tại New Zealand, để mà từ đó chúng ta hoạch định rõ hơn cái chiến lược về chọn ngành, chọn nghề để làm sao đảm bảo được cái công việc của chúng ta không chỉ là ở Việt Nam, không chỉ là ở New Zealand mà còn là cái cơ hội toàn cầu sau này khi mà các bạn tham gia vào thị trường lao động. Thì đây là một cái thông tin sẽ rất là hữu ích cho các bạn khi mà các bạn lên kế hoạch du học sau này ha, cũng như là chọn ngành, chọn nghề cho chính mình. Rồi sắp tới vào ngày 14 tháng 10 và 15 tháng 10 thì cơ quan giáo dục New Zealand sẽ tổ chức ngày hội giáo dục New Zealand ở tại thành phố Hồ Chí Minh và Hà Nội. Thì cô sẽ chiếu nhanh một cái video để các bạn biết được cái ngày hội này là như thế nào và các bạn có thể tham dự để đạt được những gì ha. Các bạn có nghe được tiếng không?
Không nghe được em ạ.
Chắc là nó bị lỗi, chắc là phải share lại rồi. Rồi các bạn chờ chút xíu nha. Tại vì cái video đó khá là hay nên là xin phép cho cô Vân share lại một chút xíu. Rồi, như vậy là về cái ngày hội này á thì chúng ta sẽ có đại diện của 30 trường hàng đầu ở New Zealand có mặt tại ngày hội. Nên là các bạn nếu có các thắc mắc về các cái cơ hội học bổng vân vân cũng như là làm sao để mà mình lựa chọn được cái ngành học thích hợp và cái lộ trình học như thế nào, thì các bạn có thể đến với cái ngày hội này để trao đổi trực tiếp với các đại diện trường đến từ New Zealand ha. Để mà chúng ta có thể nắm được các cái thông tin này. Ngoài ra thì chương trình cũng có những cái hoạt động như là chúng ta có những cái thầy rất là nổi tiếng như là thầy Nguyễn Thái Dương này, thầy Luyện Quang Kiên là một trong những người Việt đầu tiên đạt IELTS 9 chấm trong tất cả các kỹ năng ha, hoặc là thầy Hồ Kính Đạt cũng là một trong những IELTS trainer rất là nổi tiếng. Thì các thầy sẽ có mặt và có những cái phiên chia sẻ cũng như là tư vấn trực tiếp cho các bạn ở tại ngày hội, làm sao để mình chuẩn bị được kỹ năng tiếng Anh du học cho mình này. Rồi chúng ta sẽ có những cái hoạt động khám phá về New Zealand hoặc là các cái mini games, và đặc biệt là nhận được những cái món quà độc quyền từ các cái đối tác của cơ quan giáo dục New Zealand, trong đó có Singapore Airlines ha. Đây là cái QR code các bạn có thể scan và các bạn đăng ký ngay tại cái mục đăng ký tại đây ha. Thì chúng ta lưu ý là mình phải đăng ký trước để nhận được cái QR code, thì khi mà mình đến đó mình check in mình mới nhận được quà, cũng như là tham gia các hoạt động nó dễ dàng hơn. Còn nếu mình không đăng ký thì cái ngày đó mình sẽ xếp hàng hơi lâu để mà đăng ký lại và check in ha. Tí nữa cô Vân sẽ copy lại cái địa chỉ email này, cái địa chỉ website này ở trong cái phần chat. Thì nếu mà bạn nào có tham gia muốn tìm hiểu sâu hơn cũng như là tham gia các cái hoạt động trải nghiệm các mini game để nhận quà, thì các bạn có thể đến vào ngày hội để chúng ta cùng vui chơi với nhau ha. Thì các bạn nhớ là ngày hội chúng ta thông tin là ngày 14 tháng 10 ở thành phố Hồ Chí Minh và sáng ngày 15 tháng 10 tại Hà Nội. Và đối với các bạn nào muốn theo dõi các thông tin về các cuộc thi về New Zealand, các cái sân chơi về New Zealand cũng như các cái học bổng của New Zealand, thì các bạn có thể lên Facebook và search cái trang này, thông tin giáo dục New Zealand, và chúng ta có thể theo dõi cái trang này để mà có thể cập nhật những cái thông tin mới nhất. Rồi, bây giờ thì sẽ trả lại sân khấu cho các bạn. Nếu như mà các bạn có những cái thông tin hoặc là những cái câu hỏi gì dành cho thầy ha. Trong khi đó thì cô Vân sẽ copy vào cái link để mà chúng ta điểm danh. Thì các bạn lưu lại cái link điểm danh này cho đến trong ngày, sẽ mở trong ngày. Từ đây cho đến cuối ngày các bạn nhớ vào điểm danh nha. Cũng như là cô Vân sẽ copy lại cái website đăng ký của Ngày hội Giáo dục New Zealand. Đây là ngày hội do chính phủ New Zealand tổ chức và chỉ tổ chức duy nhất một lần trong năm. Thì các bạn nào có quan tâm thì các bạn có thể đăng ký để tham dự ha. Rồi, hồi nãy có bạn nào giơ tay có câu hỏi nào, mình hỏi thầy đi các em. Hoặc là có ai có câu hỏi về ngành nghề này, không nhất thiết là hỏi về bài học ha, hỏi về ngành nghề này như thế nào, hoặc là hỏi các cái thông tin khác liên quan tới trường PIHMS, hoặc là hỏi các cái thông tin liên quan tới Ngày hội Giáo dục New Zealand chẳng hạn, thì chúng ta sẽ có khoảng 5 phút để mà chúng ta trao đổi với nhau. Rồi, các bạn nhớ lưu lại form đăng ký nha. Rồi, bạn nào đang giơ tay, bạn mời bạn F School trước. Cô không thấy được tên tại con dài quá. Rồi con có thể unmute and ask question.
Cái này là em có thể hỏi là bằng tiếng Việt hay tiếng Anh của cô?
Thôi
Kiểu em
em
định
hỏi
hỏi
tiếng. Nếu mà nói được tiếng Anh thì nói tiếng Anh luôn nè. Còn nếu mà nói không được thì ok, nói tiếng Anh.
Yeah. So Mr. James, I have a question for you.
Yes.
It's more better like a personal question, but in the past, what university did you go to, or like college?
I went to university in South Africa for my bachelor's as well as my master's degree, and I did some postgrad studies at Auckland University as well.
I see. So do you have any like suggestions or like advices for people who are like going to the hotel management classes like fields?
Look, I would suggest you that there are only two institutions that really offer high-level degree and master degree qualifications in hotel management, and that's AUT as well as PIHMS. The other institutions offer diplomas and certificates, perhaps. So those will be realistically your only two options, I think, when you want to come to New Zealand to study it. There are other institutions, quite a few institutions worldwide, but we are unique in quite a lot of ways because of our environment, the climate, the people, etc. So, yep,
Yeah.
I would suggest
Thank
those
you.
will be my two choices.
It wasn't Holo talking to you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So it's a lovely question. Thank you very much. So I think I have other students here would like to ask question as well. So I can see Nguyễn Song Huê. Would you like to ask a question? Nguyễn Song Huê Anh.
When you talk about the leadership skill sets, there's visionary leadership, and you said something like a leader needs to like know their path, create their own path, and follow their own path. So, how do you know it's the right path when like the members of your group or community consider otherwise, and they give suggestions on why like the other path might be like might be more suitable?
That is a very, very good question. I think if you are connected to the people of the land, you will be wise enough to choose the path of the people, because you will pick up on the mood of the people in the country. Arrogant or people that go directly opposed to what the people of the land want are arrogant leaders, and they're not humble, and it will very quickly show up. So the people of the land, if they are really good leaders, they will be in touch with the leaders of the land or the people of the land and know which direction to go. You see, most people, the people will know where to go to. It is that one person that's got the courage to say, this is what the people say, follow me and I'll lead the people. So it's a chicken and an egg situation, isn't it?
Mm.
That's and that's always the case. Sometimes there are differences. There are opportunities where a leader needs to step up and say, sorry, we're leading in the wrong direction. But then the people will follow him if he's got those 6 characteristics that we spoke about. Okay. But generally speaking, people that bring massive change, like introducing the computer, for example, you know, the technology companies, they've set out a different path and say there must be a better way. But social issues, predominantly the leaders follow where the people know they have to go, but there's nobody that will lead them down that track.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
So thank you very much. So looks like we have other questions here as well. So I would like to invite Huỳnh Ngọc Hân, Hannah. Would you like to come forward and ask a question?
Yes. Hello, Mr. James.
Hello.
I'm Hannah. So I really like to study at your university, and I have the big question that IELTS is it compulsory qualification for you study abroad at university?
Right. So if I understand your question correct, yes, we require a certain level of entry into the qualification, which is normally, excuse me, which is normally university entrance, because it is a university degree effectively. And we require English 6 IELTS to enter as well, because as you've seen in the video clip, it's total integrated learning, where communication is fundamentally important. Did I answer your question correct? Did I answer your question, or did I miss it?
Yes, I understand.
Awesome. All right. Thank you. So I will send the requirement to study at PIHMS. So we'll need to have like year 12 a student in Vietnam, or year 11, then you do the foundation study before you go to study bachelor degree in New Zealand. But we require to have IELTS or equivalent to 6.0 as well. So 2 conditions. Yeah. So I can type that in the chat box for you as well. Awesome. Is that okay?
Yes.
So thank you very much.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. So I'd like to invite another student here. Waiting, put your hands up. Bùi Lê Phương Thảo. Would you like to come forward and ask the question, please? Would you like to unmute, please?
Yes. Hello, Mr. What's your name? James.
Good.
I want to ask you that if I have a GPA at 9.3 in Vietnam and an IELTS at 7 degrees, so can I have a chance to apply for scholarship if I study in New Zealand?
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely. Look, it's we have scholarship interviews on a regular basis. And if you're interested, then we just schedule that with you and have a conversation, and then we decide what scholarship we will offer you. We want to attract just the best of students. And we do that because we limit our numbers as well. So we're very happy to have good students. Okay, so let us know and we can schedule a meeting for you, and then we can discuss scholarships opportunities as well.
If I graduate from this university, can I have a chance to work in other countries besides New Zealand?
Oh yes, we've got students basically in every country of the world. Whenever I travel, and I even come to Vietnam, I met people in Vietnam, Australia, in Europe and Africa, wherever. So it is a very good qualification to get worldwide employment with. It is totally transferable and very highly regarded, actually.
So thank you very much, James and the students. And I can see another question here from Đức Anh, FPT Đà Nẵng.
Yes, hello, Mr. Cunningham.
Hello, sir.
And today I want to ask you some question about the leadership skill.
Yes.
Like you tell me some example like Ho Chi Minh or Võ Nguyên Giáp. So now I want to ask you, like, in this time, Ho Chi Minh can persuade everybody to have the same ideas with him. So, but in my group, I work with a lot of people and they have some different opinions. So how can I persuade him?
I think what you need to, first of all, understand yourself as why they have different opinions. Because in most cases, people will have different opinions because what's in it for them. So as long as you focus on yourself, and those, say you've got 5 friends, all those 5 friends worry what's best for them, then you will struggle to convince them. So your task as a leader is to say, hey, let's step away from ourselves and focus on the bigger picture. Because if we achieve the bigger picture, there's more benefit for all of us in it than just for you as an individual by focusing on yourself. For example, in the workplace, people may say, I work hard because I want to get the benefit. But if 5 people work hard for one another, the organization will be so much more advantaged, and everybody will be able to benefit far more. So it's the age-old principle of 1 mind is okay, but 2 minds are better than 1. And 3 minds are far better than 1. So, and that applies in leadership as well. Get the people outside of why it's only important to them and focus on the shared objective.
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay.
Yeah, I hope that you're happy with the answer. So I'd like to invite now the student here, that Bùi Đăng Khoa.
So
and then the person will be all right. Khoa, would you like to?
Good morning, James.
Good morning.
You a question.
Yes.
So now I'm in a situation that my group is have a person who's very good at doing stuff. So, but the problem is he's superior and overconfident, and my orders members don't like him. Even me, I don't like him. So then I'm thinking, should I kick him out or stay at my group? I'm wondering about that one, because if I kick him out, our group will be down clear road. Now, if I keep it in, the members will keep, conflict with him, and maybe my group is still not work well. So what should I do in this situation?
And look, it's complex because there are more than just you involved in the situation. And I think wisdom is required. And if you ask my opinion, if you can hang in there and sort the situation out, then so much better than giving up. Because eventually the leader will move on. And then people will say, who was the person that galvanized the rest of the team, looked after them, supported them, etc. And you will be the natural leader. I was quite a few times in my life, I've been in a position as well where the leader was bad for the company, but I had to hang in there. And time eventually resolves all these issues. So if you can stay and bring the team together, don't fight the leader because you will just lose. But support the leader as much as possible. And when the leader sees you supporting him with new ideas and fresh ideas and the team is behind you, the leader may change over time as well, but it takes time. Okay. So I do have empathy with you because, man, it's not easy in that situation. But my recommendation, stay, take the team with you, and eventually the leader will move on. And who's the natural leader then? You are, to take his position. So it's a little bit of a long-term approach, I would say.
Perfect for your answer. I really like that.
We can't change our bosses, unfortunately, but time sometimes helps us.
Awesome. Thank you very much. It's just so impressed with our students' question. And the next student I would like to invite to ask the question is the student from FPT Haiphong. I can't really see your full name, but if you can unmute yourself and ask the question, be good. And then I can see IGC Thái Bình Dương as well. So if you can prepare next, that will be also.
Thank you, Ms. Nga. And thank you, Mr. James, for the lesson today. I would like to ask you that, assuming that everyone would be a leader with 6 factors given, so what are the factors do you think that the determinant to be a more significant leader than others?
That's a very easy answer to answer. It's your own attitude. Right. We may all have the 6 skills, but if my attitude towards my development is greater than yours, I will always be a better leader because I'll excel. So so on a scale of 1 to 10, we all have those 6 characteristics that we spoke about. But if I put in more effort to develop them than what you do, I will be the greater leader. It's attitude, 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 attitude every day of the week.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Lovely, and thank you. And I would like to invite the student from IGC Thái Bình Dương.
Hello, I'm Mina, and I would like to ask that what factors that should I consider when I'm choosing a major, and do the school and do the university in New Zealand include the distance learning like yours?
Look, we don't do distance learning for a very good reason, Mina, because we believe leaders are developed through socialization, interaction, communication, teamwork, working on problems, solving problems together, etc. So our entire school's pedagogy or way of delivery is around research, teamwork, project management, etc. Because that's the skills that people want in future. So no, because it's the leadership skills we spoke about earlier. You can't learn by studying textbooks. It's being engaged with people. So for us, distance learning is not the option. There are universities in New Zealand that do distance learning, okay? And you can gain knowledge that way, but whether you can become wise and develop leadership skills via distance learning, that's a different question. Right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you very much. And it's a really good question because at PIHMS, it's the practicals lots of practical. So it's not just theory and academics only. So it's important that you come to New Zealand to study, but either you complete your year 11 in Vietnam and then you go to study the foundation, or you complete the year 12 in Vietnam and then you meet entry requirements, then you can go to New Zealand to study the bachelor degree. And that way you can have 3 years, like Ms. Vân shared with you, 3 years to complete the bachelor degree. And students, if you have IELTS 6.0 and your GPA from 8.0, you're welcome to register to have interview with Mr. James Cunningham and in the team as well. And I will be helping you like with the process for you to be able to have interview and scholarship to study at PIHMS. And also, if you like to learn more about what we have to offer, because we have lots of students, Vietnamese students are very successful in New Zealand. And if you would like to know more, and then tomorrow we have the live session, which like Ms. Tang sent the link on the chat box. You can go back to that and join, and then you can ask our students, year 3 student, but and then he got about 5 jobs offered already, like hotels in New Zealand, they wanted PIHMS students. And lots of them after year 1, after 1 year of working, they are promoted to like duty manager or restaurant manager. And then yeah, just and I just interviewed one PIHMS student previously. After 3 years, he became general manager. And how they can do it is all about the leadership skills that you can develop it over the time, and also you have strategic plan when to learn, how to learn, and what to learn, and who you learn from, and then you implement it, and you will be like put in the right environment, because you need to have environment as well, right? So so everything is a whole package and combination. So some students can take 1 year to become leaders, you know, some others takes longer time, all depends on what you have to offer. So you can do it, my student can do it, you can too. So I hope the lesson today, yeah, Mr. James, looks like.
If I can just say a general comment to all the students, okay. Information is one thing, knowledge is another thing. I can understand everything about, say, how to fly an aeroplane. But because I can't fly aeroplanes because I've never flown an aeroplane. It only becomes knowledge once I can fly the aeroplane. It's the same with being a doctor. It's the same as being a lawyer or a hotel manager, etc. We may know everything, but till we can do it and have the right attitude towards it, we are never a hotel manager. And I think that's what great institutions do. They help you develop the skills, the attitude, and the knowledge to become successful. So although the temptation is there to do distance learning and do courses, be careful and ask yourself, how do I gain knowledge? How does it impact my attitudes? Okay, because those are the things that will impact your career in future, not the information you have in your head. Okay.
So thank you very much, Mr. James. And Minat, are you happy with the answer?
Sorry, I didn't catch it.
Are you happy with the answer?
Yeah, thank you.
Question? It's lovely, thank you. And is there any other question that you would like to ask Mr. James Cunningham, everybody, before we can wrap up and we can complete the session today? So anyone, would you like to ask any other question? So while you are doing that, so I'd like to say thank you very much for being here today. It's Saturday morning in Vietnam, and it's a precious time for you guys. I know that you study very, very hard, and but you are here and very engaging in the lesson as well, with all of the questions by Mr. James Cunningham, and he's one of the like the most amazing person I have worked with, and I've learned a lot from him as well, especially in the leadership skills, and he's really trying to help students to be their best and to be very successful in New Zealand. And the thing is, like with the hotel industry and hotel management, what I'm very passionate about is the skills you learn from it. It's called transferable skills that you learn from it. You can take it away with you. You don't have to be in the hotel industry forever. Students can jump and they go to different industry, but the skills that you carry with you forever, and it helps you to be better and then to be more successful in whatever path you would like to choose in the future. So it's the last sharing that I'd like to share with you today. And hopefully if you can reach out to me, ask any other questions as well in Vietnamese, in English, whatever you like. And Mr. James Cunningham, he already shared with you his email and also the form that if you would like to assess your leadership skills and get the report from him, you can go back to the chat and you can just click on the link, take your time and finish it after. And yeah, so it's all from us today. And I'd like to invite Mr. James Cunningham to have the final words with our student.
Oh, thank you very much, guys. All the best with your futures. Okay, it's exciting to be young. It's exciting to choose a career path forward. And you've got another 60, 70, 80, 90 years to live. And how exciting is that? Make the most of every day and learn and become better every day than what you were yesterday, and work on those leadership skills. Attitude, attitude, attitude. Go for it. All the best.
Awesome. So thank you very much, everybody. And I just leave the link there for you. Just if you want to do the assessment on your leadership skill, you're welcome to do so. The recording I will send to Mr. Bằng at ENZ, and then you can receive that as well. So once again, thank you very much. And it has been a pleasure for us to be here today. And hopefully I can see you again sometime very soon. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Thank you.